everyone's favorite Black Myth Wukong, which the biggest selling game right now. I don't know if you saw the marketing team thing all around like the Steam keys and yeah. So again, the one thing I will point out is like this is the first like major release in the video game space from China in a very long time, if ever. Like not counting mobile games, like I'm talking
that stuff.
Like
that stuff is different, right?
And so, yeah, part of it to me makes sense that they're going to have some maybe weird, like a little bit weirder terms.
China is a very censored country, like they just are.
They are
to the point where it's almost strange that this game exists and made it out of the country, because the rules for they're like the laws and rules regarding video games in that country. I don't like the last time. To be fair, the last time I read anything about that was years ago. But they're crazy in terms of like how much you can play, how Microsoft is even able to sell stuff in that country, how Nintendo is able to sell stuff in that country, subscription services. Like they have weird Game Pass like things
or rules.
Yeah, it's just odd. So it's almost even weirder that this game came out.
So here is their list of do's and don'ts for streamers for the game, for people that got free keys, to be fair.
And it should
people
be
that bought the game whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but if we gave you a key, these were the rules.
These are the rules. There's one do. Enjoy the game.
Hey, hell yeah.
Sure, hell yeah. Do not insult other influencers or players.
Fine.
Okay.
Reasonable.
Do not use any offensive language or humor.
Reasonable.
Okay, fine. You're reasonable. Do not include politics, violence, nudity, feminist propaganda, fetishization, and other content that instigates negative discourse.
So we'll stop here for a second because I understand where they're coming from.
I do too.
There's probably a better way to say this, and especially there's one you probably didn't need to just blatantly label in the middle there.
Agreed. I agree.
But that's clearly like a snapback at the press.
The IGN article.
Yes.
Yeah. Do not use trigger words such as quarantine or isolation or COVID-19.
That's obviously that's probably, to be fair, that's probably a country policy at this point.
I think
where
so. Yeah.
Nothing related to them can ever have
the one that makes the most sense to me, because it's a game from China, is the last one here, which is do not discuss content related to China's game industry policies, opinions, news, etc.
Right.
That makes sense.
There's a lot of it where it's that those are more like country policies that are probably relate to most things they put out. I would assume that falls under like any movies made in China that come out.
Probably.
I would assume it falls under all of that stuff.
Look at how movies have had to been ultra censored to come out in China.
Right.
Like you look at the Marvel stuff, you look at Star Wars, you look at how the posters had to be edited certain ways.
Magic and stuff in those movies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's rules, and if that's a country-wide mandate for all media, you can't really put that on them. It's that one specific sticking point in the middle where it's an obvious reaction to what happened.
And again, the whole thing that happened in that situation, there was somebody at IGN that wrote we'll use the term hit piece, but that's basically what it's become. And they used a mistranslated text from the article. The problem is the mistranslation, and it has been proven now time and time and time again that it was mistranslated. But this person that wrote that article keeps doubling and tripling and quadrupling down that no, it's not mistranslated.
When it
has literally been proven.
When you've had people like that one Chinese YouTuber woman who read it. And she's like, no.
She literally read it verbatim and was like, okay, this is what this person means in our language.
Right.
Versus what you
remember,
think it means.
Context and direct translations from different languages are very hard to understand sometimes. But unless you're a native speaker. Now, if the person who wrote this IGN article could speak Chinese, maybe I'd believe it.
A little bit, yeah. But she has obviously gone. She's tweets protected off Twitter, but she's out talking about it on Reset. I forgot Reset Era, or we used to know it as NeoGAF back in the day.
NeoGAF.
Now Reset Era is kind of like the hive mind for the journalists now. So she's been talking it over there about it and like how she feels like she's being harassed and everything, which like, yeah, there is a level of it where some of it is harassment. I'm not
Sure.
gonna beat around the bush on it, but like also like you're still clinging to something that has been proven false. Like you can't get any more clear than that. Like when somebody from that country is telling you, I speak this language, this is what this means, this is what that means, this was mistranslated. It's hard to defend that. Like that article at this point. There was another person that got involved, I guess. I think it's a freelancer from IGN, and I didn't put this in here. I was trying to find a screenshot of the tweet, but they had literally tweeted, and of course they're tweets protected because that's what these people do all the time. But it literally put out there that like, do not buy Black Myth Wukong, don't support it if you have to pirate the game. Can you imagine in 2024 being someone that works at IGN, freelance or not, and advocating people to pirate a video game?
Yeah, but we say this like IGN has any kind of like ethics of any kind anymore.
They don't anymore.
That used to be. You know what is insane about like the history of IGN? As someone who's been reading the IGNs, it's pretty much as long as it's been around.
We both have.
As long as it's been around. Do you remember what original IGN was? IGN had a column every day, Babe of the Day.
I was going to say, yeah, because people like to bring that up all the time when, yeah.
But like that is what IGN used to be. Obviously, 25 years ago, when it's that, and they're talking about like upcoming movies like Spider-Man, and they would have categories for all this stuff. That's obviously what people wanted at the time. Like, does that need to exist anymore now? No, you can go other places if you want that kind of content. Reddit exists, but it's wild to see them go from that to like the number one place that used to have good articles about stuff to now where it's we hire anybody, they can do whatever they want, we'll fact check it when it's relevant. Remember your buddy who just blatantly stole shit from other people, Philip Muchin or whatever his name was?
Yeah,
where he just out and out stole crap from people, and then when he got busted the first time, he's like, well, that's the only time I ever did it. And then they went back and they're like, oh, that you're going to challenge us now because we went and found 6 others.
They went back to like 2015 or something absurd.
Yeah. He was copying fucking FIFA reviews. He need to copy a FIFA review, dude. I can write one without having to play a FIFA game.
Exactly.
But then you get the typical IGN of like, oh, man, we didn't know. Yeah, we just didn't know. We're so sorry. Yeah, I can't believe we let that happen. It'll never happen again. How come nobody figured it out? Who's his editor?
Like
somebody had to read his shit before it posted,
somebody read it and was like, that seems weird, but whatever. Like that's I feel like was the reaction.
Yeah.
That seems a little odd or suspect, but whatever.
But that's IGN has just become a place where, remember, I think we may have talked about it. Maybe this happened before we even started this whole thing. But when they were talking about, we're redoing our review scores again, and we're going to change the system. We're going to change the system again. And then that guy doubles, triples down on, we're going to do whatever the hell I want because it's what I want to do in terms of reviews. I'll turn off comments to make a point. Excuse me, what? What is his website?
That's like a common, like almost anytime you see anything that's written with any kind of opinion whatsoever, the comment section will be turned off.
It's because IGN's not a gaming news site anymore. It's a blog.
No, it is. I argue that about all of these websites. They're all blogs.
They're all just blogs now. And you have to. It's no different than finding the blog of somebody you like and reading their stuff. They're all blogs. But IGN is a blog that masquerades as some bigger media company.
Well,
when almost everything is just opinion pieces.
It is at this point. So they bought a lot. I mean, that's the thing. They bought a lot of those websites.
Yeah.
In the last month or two. So.
Well, it doesn't help that everyone else is going away. Like Game Informer's dead.
Yeah,
you could argue to me that Game Informer was the last place you could go to get actual gaming news and actual preview articles that actually gave a damn about stuff. But
I can agree with that.
They couldn't exist anymore because A, they're a magazine, so they're a month behind on all news, and B, they're owned by GameStop, which is a shit show in of itself.
It is. So, yeah.
But it's a good thing. Just the last thing on that Black Myth thing. It's a good thing that people freaked out about all these rules, but it didn't matter.
It doesn't
10 million copies.
They're not going to change.
Guess what you're getting in a couple of years? Wukong 2.
Wukong 2, yeah. No. They decided that the first day when they saw 2 million concurrent players. Like, all right,
and you know what? And maybe it'd be different, but all of the reviews for it pretty good.
That's the thing. Yeah, like they
say there's some technical problems, which name a game that doesn't have one when it comes out.
Yeah.
And
I'll say this as someone who has played a little bit of it, if there are technical problems, it's very playable.
Right.
So, but and again, also it's if you look at it, I would say it's a higher profile PC release than it is PlayStation.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's always going to vary on PC. Name a PC game this current generation that has launched without any issues, right? Like,
we've talked about it before, and like that's why I don't PC game. I don't have the time to worry about upgrading my computer. No, I put a disc into my PlayStation and it works. And if it doesn't work for me on a PlayStation, it doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not my problem.
Then you wait a day or two for them to patch it.
It's not my fault.
So